This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today we're going to go through a bit of a quote. It's not actually just a bit of a quote, maybe it is, but it's a quote by Rumi, R-U-M-I, I believe. Maybe there's a different way to pronounce his name, but either way, that's what we're going from. And although he's famous for many quotes, I'm choosing one today that says, "As you start to walk on the way appears." And as you start to walk on the way appears. Interesting. Now, it's something really quite simple, yet at the same time can be seen as quite profound, depending on how somebody wants to interpret it for their life and their current situation, reality, etc. And so, one of the things that I wanted to point out around this, and I apologize if you can hear my dog whinging in the background. Yeah, I'm not playing with him. That's what he's upset about. But let's have a look at a few little things. So, as you start to walk on the way appears. Well, what is this really pointing at? It's like, it's talking to those of us who are hesitant to go a particular way because we're not sure of what it's meant to look like. Therefore, we won't start. It could be a perfectionist in us. It could be the cynical side of us to go, well, I don't know how. I don't see it happening. I can't see how it's going to work, so I'm just not going to do it. That's the cynical side. The perfectionist side will basically be wanting to make sure that it's a perfect way all the way along. And the challenge is that even if we have this ideal plan for our future and the layout of what's going to occur and, the coming planned structure of my goal, let's call it that. Even if I have this plan that I'm happy with and hopefully all the planets line up and all that kind of shit, that's operating from this self-centeredness that you as the individual have a better understanding of how reality should unfold on a grand scale. And so what that's doing is it's actually like, it's almost narcissistic for us to want all those planets to align, for the ducks to line up or shoot them all or whatever the term is. The thing about it though is that a lot of it's to do with not trusting ourselves. And so with this structure and this plan, although like the planning part, I'm not disregarding it, saying it's not important. What I'm getting at is that we're trying to plan a part of the universe. We're literally trying to plan a part of the reality unfolding over the whole fucking universe. Like some things are just not going to go to your plan. And maybe people go, so I have a plan to deal with the plan. It's like, sure, but there's so many options that it's majority of the time it's not trusting yourself to deal with reality as it is in the moment. And so the plan's there to actually save us. It's like the plan never works. Let me give you an example. Have you ever had this conversation play in your mind that you feel like you really need to have with somebody? Either they're going to have with you at some point, or you've got some sort of frustration with them, or maybe you're defending yourself, or whatever the situation is in your mind. It comes up for you, right? And so have you played out the conversation in your mind? And then when time comes, like you're ready, hey, you're pumped, you're amped, you know what's going to happen, you've got all of you've already planned all of your return serves, all of your volleys back, you've planned all your shots. And then what happens is that they hit you with something you didn't expect at the start. Maybe it's like the fact that they go, hey man, I really want to apologize. Or they go, just so you know, this bit of information came across my desk yesterday. And I wasn't sure if you knew anything about it. Whatever it may be, we've gone, fuck yeah, I'm ready for this, with our plan of how the conversation is meant to go. And as soon as anything changes, we're like stuck. We don't know what to do. The thing is, we do this with reality. The difference is just trusting yourself as the individual to know that you are safe and that you are okay, no matter how the conversation goes. This is how we often suffer more in imagination than we do in reality, because we're so busy trying to protect ourselves in our imagination from the reality that may and most likely will never happen. This is the whole idea of like, once you start to walk on the way appears. And it's not to do with trusting the process. Guys, you are the process. You're the fucking process that you're meant to be trusting, right? Not something external out there. Like people will say from a coaching point of view that if you trust the process, you'll get the results. Sure, that's true, but it's more so looking at if you trust the process of yourself, right? Trust yourself to deal with reality as it unfolds. you'll get what you want, right? And what I mean by that is that you'll get you. You won't get someone else. You won't have to feel like you need to be someone else. You won't have to try and make everyone else happy. You just get to be you. And in that moment of you being you, now we get to be able to trust ourselves, because we're not trusting this face that we're putting on to pretend to deal with it. And so the beautiful thing about this is that when we realize that we are safe, and when we start to shift to this space of trust, what actually occurs is that what was used to be unknown and scary now becomes known, like, as we work through it. So it's like wanting to know all of the details of a movie before watching it. It's like, that's not life. Life is the movie. Life is the hero's journey. And there's ups and there's downs, but there's also neither. This is why there's no good and bad, because the things that happen to us that in the moment, like, bad's a static snapshot of reality, right? It's a static snapshot of reality. This was bad. Based on what? How many times have we had things in our life that were challenging lead us to something that was just purely amazing? How many times have we had good things in our life really set us up for some really hard challenges as well? This is the reality, is that the idea of judgment of good or bad is a static snapshot, wherein when we trust the process, remember, process isn't something external. Process is you. Trust the process. You're the process. You're not a static snapshot in time, right? The process isn't outside of you. It is you. You're the thing that's continually processing and moving through and unfolding, and there's no end date. Hey, there's not a fucking end date. It doesn't occur like that. So when something good happens, it's just simply a little blip on a radar of a constant continuum of reality, as opposed to this idea of this was really good and this was really bad. It's like, fuck me, I can tell you that the things that challenge me the most in my life have allowed me to really learn some lessons that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to had I have not had that. Had things gone my way, I would have been a lot weaker. And knowing that allows me to now become a larger contributor to society, right? It goes like, there's so many fucking old school quotes that feed into this. It's not just a quote. There's a meaning behind it. There's a fucking story behind it. It's the smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. It's that kind of idea. Doesn't mean you go looking for trouble, because that's the same as looking for good. It's the same shit. It means you're able to just trust yourself to unravel as the process through your goal, through your outcomes, through your relationships, and whilst doing that, the way appears, because now you're trusting yourself to walk. Do you hear that? To walk. Not run, not sprint, not sit down. To walk on the way, and the way, step by step, will appear as you continually unfold as part of a process of a larger process. And on that team, I'm out. If you haven't already, please jump on Facebook and search Mood Prep Online and join the conversation there. We've still got our book club. We've got a couple of decisions to make, I think, by Friday this week. So find out which books are coming up next. Otherwise, on that note, until tomorrow, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.